Welcome back. I'm Ed Riley. Well, you know, back to school costs can be a huge burden, and with average spending going up, so are concerns for low-income families. According to the National Retail Federation, families with kids in elementary through high school plan to spend nearly $700 this year. The biggest expenses? Clothing and then electronics. But now there are several programs in Buffalo aimed to help supply students at no cost.
This is the time of year when our families are preparing for back to school, and that can be very stressful for many of the families.
For struggling families, the cost of back to school supplies can mean the difference between eating and paying monthly bills.
Oh, the glue sticks.
glue
I always
sticks.
like this better than the squeeze out.
Right.
You know?
That's why the Salvation Army is now filling over 600 backpacks with essential school items that came from community donations.
That makes it easier for them to prepare for the month ahead.
The backpacks will be given out next week to needy children in the Salvation Army's programs, day camp and shelter.
A huge blessing. It's amazing that it's so close. We encourage all of our teacher friends to come because it's a great resource for everyone to use.
Katie Braun is an occupational therapist for Ripley Central Schools, a district that is considered poor.
We don't have a lot of kids that get extras, so this is enough for them to do projects throughout the year. There's supplies that they really need.
Normally, Katie would have to buy supplies for her students who could not afford them. But instead, she and other teachers in poor districts are able to get $1,000 in free supplies from a program called the Teacher's Desk in Buffalo.
Besides the core items they also get encouragement. So when they're having a lousy Monday, a tough Monday or Tuesday, they can realize that there's people in the community and ultimately God that care about them.
John Micah, a former teacher, started the Teacher's Desk in 2011. It has now grown to a point where it gives away $6 million worth of free supplies to teachers who work with students in need across Western New York.
It's something that's helping teachers and ultimately the kids. I feel like I've died and gone to heaven.
It's crazy. It's a madhouse when you go to the stores, so especially with 3 kids starting in 3 different levels of school.
Corey Muldowney is an active Air Force member at the Niagara Falls Air Base. He and his kids are getting school supplies from a special program for veterans and military families called Operation Backpack.
This is a nice program to be able to come in. It's all here. It's a lot calmer. You're not fighting over supplies with people who are in the store.
Operation Backpack is organized by Western New York Heroes with donations from the community.
If you look around, we have a tremendous amount of backpacks and supplies, and more still coming in.
While it helps military families with cost, it also makes it easier for families to avoid the stress of in-store shopping and crowds, something that can be very overwhelming for combat veterans who suffer from anxiety or PTSD.
Feeling that you have to get everything on that list in a certain amount of time frame can be very stressful.
Last year, Operation Backpack helped over 165 families. This year, it's prepared to help even more veteran and military families who have kids in elementary school all the way to college. And the Teacher's Desk has one more week of summer shopping before it switches to school year hours of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Both programs require participants to register ahead of time.
All right, so Ed, all of this makes me think, and makes a lot of people, I'm sure, think if they have enough donations for all of these classrooms.
Well, Western New York Heroes told me they actually have enough supplies to handle 500 kids.
Wow.
But the Salvation Army and the Teacher's Desk said they could always use more donations of school supplies because the need is just so great.
Yeah, it's so important to help the people who give us so much. And what you said about the veterans is really important. You don't realize that if they go into all of these big box stores, essentially, it kind of sets them back a little bit.
Oh, you've probably been in there. It's like people are pulling and grabbing and things are all over the place. I could see how that could happen.
Very interesting.
It also makes me think, too, we always know that teachers end up spending so much of their own money if the kids don't have it. So.
Absolutely. So this really helps out a lot of folks.
Some great advice, Ed. Thank you very much. One thing also in need for back to school is